Oh yeah. Alright.
Howdy, welcome to Angleatcha. Do you want to try to hook into your first muskie, but your wallet looks like this? Well, I've got your back. I put together this little video with what I consider to be the bare essentials. Now, to get this out of the way, you could catch a muskie with 8-pound test on an ultralight, but muskie are built purely for offense and have very little defense. They're just not hardy. They're big and hard fighting, but they die easy. That said, once you catch one, you're going to want to catch more, and you can't do that if you don't take care of them. So here we go. First thing you're going to need is a good pair of pliers, for obvious reasons. You know, plucking your eyebrows with them so you can take a good picture with your muskie. But in all seriousness, you're going to need pliers. Muskies have a lot of teeth, and the roof of their mouth is extremely hard. They can be very difficult to unhook sometimes, and just pliers are an absolute necessity when it comes to muskie fishing. You absolutely have to have a net, and I don't mean your mom's friend a net, I mean one of these. Now when it comes to muskie lures, things can be a little tricky for newcomers. There's a seemingly infinite variety of lures out there, and a lot of people out there trying to sell you every single one of them. Now, in my opinion, there are just a few essentials that you really need to have. You're going to want a crankbait style lure, an inline spinner, and some kind of topwater. Now, you can use a buzzbait, but the last time I caught a muskie on one of these, it looked like Mick Foley after his match with The Undertaker at King of the Ring 98. You might get one muskie before you lose the skirt and it gets bent in places it shouldn't be bent and straightened out in places that it should be bent. So I really recommend going with something made for muskie. Now, out of these three, if I were to just pick one single lure, I would probably go with the crankbait style. You can work it as slow as you want, you can work it as fast as you want, you can work it like a jerkbait. You can get a lot of use out of something like this. But I think a lot of other people would recommend an inline spinner if you can only get one musky lure. And it's not a bad option. Inline spinner, great musky lure. If money's real tight, I'd hold off on the topwater, or, use a buzzbait, but know that you're only going to get probably just one muskie out of it before it's just completely destroyed. As for rod and reel, if you're just wanting to try your hand at catching your first muskie, and you have a bass setup, where the rod has a pretty good backbone and you have 50-pound test or bigger on there, you should do just fine. Next up, you're going to want to have a heavy wire or fluorocarbon leader. Now, 9 out of 10 times their teeth won't even touch the leader, but I have another video on this channel where a muskie inhaled the lure deep and it bled a lot, but I know that it didn't die because I was there every day for a few days after that, and I definitely would have seen it. But without the leader, that fish would have died for sure. It would have cut my line, and it wouldn't have been able to eat with the big lure blocking its throat. So a leader is kind of a just-in-case sort of thing, but that one time you do need it, it'll come in real handy. Now, as for how to target them when you're on the water, they're ambush predators, and they like to lay alongside logs or big rocks, or sometimes if the sun's out, they just kind of hang out in a shady spot, because they like to just chill in the shade as much as anybody else. And when they're actively feeding, they'll push up on the edges of the whitewater to catch hurt fish, but they typically like nice, calm, slow-moving water with big enough cover for them to lay against. they're big, top of the food chain predators, so there's never going to be a lot of them really close together, which is your main obstacle when fishing from the bank. So you just have to target them at dawn and dusk when they're the most active, and if at all possible, if you can't turn anything up in one place, try to move to another, which is what I did here the other day. I couldn't catch anything at the spillway, so I went to the only other place I knew nearby that I had access to the river, and I ended up landing a muskie. Come on, there's gotta be a muskie somewhere. I know they exist. Oh yeah! All right. Yeah! Awesome. Unhooked itself and everything. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, well, I'll get it out of the water, look at it for just a second, but all right, nice little guy. Oh. Terrible release right there, but still real lively. Good to go. Awesome. Look at that slime.